Hi, I'm Soleil.
And I'm BV with your final WNMS broadcast for this semester. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The latest edition of Pop Print is now available on the NMS website and the link provided on your screen. This issue features articles about the teacher appreciation, positive thinking, book reviews, New Year's resolutions, buzzwords, and an interesting array of other topics. Good luck at the Science Olympiad team in their tournament on January 23rd. The next GSA meeting is January 28th via Zoom at 3 o'clock p.m. Their theme will be educating others about the LGBTQ.
Attention seventh grade students. Registration for the November 2nd to November 5th, 2021 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip is now open. This trip is open to all members of the class of 2026. The deadline to guarantee a spot in this November's trip is January 31st. After that, the school may need to open a waiting list. Registering by January 31st will also save you 50% off the cost of the trip. All information regarding the trip, including informational videos, is available on the school website.
After watching the videos and reading the information on the school website, if you have any remaining questions, please contact the trip coordinator, Mr. Fenchel. 2020 was a year that we won't soon forget. Shashank takes us back to the time in this year and this review.
You might hear that 2020 was a bad year, the worst in the 21st century, or it was a historic year. Today, I'll be reflecting on this year that was 2020, and discuss the hardships we had to face, and I will bring into light the lessons we have learned from this monumental year. To put that into simple terms, I'm going to talk about what happened in 2020 and discuss what we've learned from this historic year. This is WNMS reporter Shashank. Let's begin. Even in the beginning of the year, 2020 had a few hiccups. Bushfires ravaged Australia, President Trump was awaiting his impeachment trial, and Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was assassinated, which caused tensions between the United States and Iran to escalate to a very high level. But on the other side of the world, the virus that would soon become an international pandemic had forced Wuhan into a strict lockdown. On March 11th, the WHO declared COVID-19 a pandemic. Countries around the world went into lockdown. Schools and businesses were shut down, social distancing guidelines were implemented, and the economy struggled. Events like the Olympics were postponed, and conversations were moved online on places like Zoom and FaceTime. President Trump repeatedly downplayed the virus as a pandemic surged in the United States until late May. On May 25th, George Floyd was killed by the hands of 4 Minneapolis police officers. This surged protests all around the world and calls to defund the police. Peaceful protests were hijacked by riots and looting. Later, the pandemic surged after social distancing guidelines were relaxed all around the nation. This prompted mask mandates to be adopted in many states. Meanwhile, wildfires raged in California. Autumn had started, and with it came school, where students and teachers alike had to adapt to the new learning environment. Furthermore, a new surge of COVID cases erupted throughout the country, with America surpassing 10 million cases. Meanwhile, election season had started. Due to the pandemic, mail-in ballots became the primary way of voting. After multiple days of counting votes, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the election, with Joe Biden receiving more popular votes than any other candidate in American history, with over 81 million, and Kamala Harris being the first female vice president and the first vice president of South Asian descent. Meanwhile, Trump and his supporters claimed election fraud and held protests and lawsuits. And during December, COVID-19 vaccine candidates from Moderna and Pfizer have been approved for emergency use by the FDA. 2020 was a bad year, but we were able to learn valuable life lessons from it. First, the pandemic taught us that resilience and adaptability can get us through hardships. Second, the protests made us realize that racism was still a dangerous threat. Third, the aftermath of the election showed us that we as a country are more divided than ever. And finally, the year shows us that if we work together as a community, we can overcome whatever is thrown at us. In the Chinese zodiac, 2020 is the year of the rat, which signifies renewal and new successes. As we remember, the world went through political and social unrest, a global pandemic, and an economic crisis, but we were able to adapt to it. 2021 is the year of the ox, which signifies persistence. We can take what we've learned in 2020 and apply it into 2021, provided we work hard. This is WNMS reporter Shashank, and I hope you all have a good day.
What a great report, Shashank. Another hot topic is the current status of the COVID-19 vaccines. Some teachers and staff have started to get their first round of the vaccines. Aditya and you have an update.
What's up, NMS? This is Aditya reporting for WNMS regarding the latest breakthrough in the COVID-19 pandemic. A recent event that happened was that the first COVID-19 strand mutated into another one. Yug has more on this topic.
The COVID strand has had 17 new mutations from the old one, but some good news is that the vaccines will still work on the new mutations. The first confirmed mutated strand case in the USA first appeared in Colorado in late December. Now we know that the vaccines are working against a new strand of COVID. Let's see how that's doing throughout the world in terms of getting approved.
A vaccine has been approved in the UK, Bahrain, Canada, Mexico, US, Singapore, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, EU, India, China, UAE, and Russia. Even though all these countries have approved a COVID vaccine, they've approved different company vaccines such as Pfizer, BioNTech, Pharma, Moderna, and Serum of Institute of India. But these are just a few of the companies developing and launching a COVID vaccine. But when you get COVID-19 vaccines, do you have immunity right away? According to the WHO, herd immunity, also known as population immunity, is the indirect protection from an infectious disease that happens when a population is immune either through vaccination or immunity developed through previous infection. Or in other words, immunity for the world happens when enough of the population has received the vaccine. So just because you got the vaccine doesn't mean you have immunity. You only get immunity when a large portion of the population has gotten the vaccine administered in them. Here are some caution notes about taking the vaccine.
Taking a vaccine doesn't mean that you can roam free without a mask. All this means is that you have been covered for a period of time. There are certain side effects for taking the vaccine, as stated by the WHO for the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccinations. You still need to wash your hands regularly and wear a mask when you go outside. This has been Aditya and Yug reporting from WNMS with your COVID-19 vaccine report. Have a nice day, NMS.
Let's hope that all who need the vaccine get it soon. Tomorrow will be a completely virtual half day for all students. The schedule will be as follows.
Here's your headline news with Kayla.
Hello, MNS. This is Kayla with the headline news. Yesterday, this year's inauguration was truly remarkable. John Biden and Kamala Harris are being inaugurated as nation's 46th president and 49th vice president. Kamala Harris is now also the first woman and the first person of color to swear in as vice president. President Donald Trump, who lost in the November presidential election, did not attend the inauguration. He is now the first outgoing president in 152 years to skip the swearing-in of his successor. Okay, NMS, this has been Kayla with the headline news.
In sports news, the 7th-ranked Michigan Wolverines throttled Maryland on Tuesday 87-63 to remain in first place in the Big Ten. The Michigan's women's basketball team remains undefeated and is in first place in the Big Ten as well. Both the men's and women's teams for Michigan State have had several games postponed recently due to COVID outbreaks. The NFL playoffs continued this week as the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills turned back onto Baltimore Ravens in the AFC. In the NFC, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers will take on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Sunday for a berth in the Super Bowl.
Hey NMS, this is Uday for your weather segment for today's broadcast of WNMS. At Thursday at noon today, it'll be 32 degrees Fahrenheit. For Thursday after school, it'll be 37 degrees Fahrenheit. For Friday at noon, it'll be 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Happy birthday to the following students:
Clap, 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 happy birthday. Clap, 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 happy birthday. Clap, 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 happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Clap, 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 happy birthday. Clap, 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 happy birthday. Clap, 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 happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Hey Soleil, do you know fish have eyelids?
Wow, that's such a fishy fact.
It's been Bivu.
And Soy, with your final WNMS broadcast of the semester, signing off.